I don't need anything till
I had that last
Who else
time.
am I supposed to share?
Good morning, welcome to Inside High School Sports. I'm your host, Tony Caligiuri, along with Frank Wolf, Tom Prince, Francis Beck from Western New York Athletics, and Roger Weiss, our resident troublemaker in studio. Morning, guys.
good morning, Mr. Caligiuri.
Uh-oh, what did I do? He's
Oh,
calling me
come
Mr.
on, you can't
What does he
call-
need?
Morning, y'all.
That's
go.
better, that's better. God, what are we going to talk about today, guys?
Your beard?
Tough,
Or your
tough.
lack of beard?
Lack of beard? Yeah, it's
Lack of
gone.
beard. I hope the people on the camera here can see that when you
I'll
have our
smile.
YouTube stream going.
Joe
The
and
beard's
Tony,
gone.
Anthony, if you like, I'll treat you to lunch today.
Oh, that's so nice. Wait a second. We're having wings today.
My treat?
Your treat. All right. Yeah, we have Wing Fest going on today at Bison's Field, Coca-Cola Field. Roger and I are judging, and my son Nick. What's that say? Detroit Red Wings.
In
Ah,
Los Angeles, King.
Kings.
My tribute to Mr. Surza, Wings, King.
I like that. Takes a little bit of thinking, but I'm
Hey,
sure Drew will
wait a
pick
minute.
up on it.
I'm gonna get a headache if you still tell me I start thinking. Thinking is not allowed.
All right, we look
We
forward
just
to,
react.
we look forward to Wingfest every year, and Drew Surza does such a great job putting it on. So if you're headed to Wingfest, as you enter the gates, look for the pavilion on your right-hand side. That's usually where we are tucked under there. Be joined by Lauren Fix, the car coach. We'll all get to talk cars for a couple of hours. Looking forward to that. So stop by, say hello.
Lauren toured with me last year. I had Lauren and Lori Schultz on my team.
Oh, you lucky man. All right, guys, news and notes before we get into the scores. Francis, do you have anything for us, my friend?
Not off the top of my head.
Frank?
I know that they had a very good turnout for the first Frank Martin Memorial Golf outing. It was a huge success.
Awesome.
From what I've heard.
$4,500 given out in scholarships, and 6 recipients are getting $750 each. Madeline McCarsky from Wilson, Allie Haskell from Franklinville, Samantha Fisher from Orchard Park, Morgan Davis from Allegheny Limestone, Kara Schmidt from Holland, and Ellie Angeletti from Panama.
Nice.
Great success, and of course Ricker had his girls basketball team, the Jamestown Elite, out there treating me like royalty, and I just went there and ate it up.
Nice.
Had a good old time. It was real good. Kudos to Brian Wilson. I hear Brian from Wilson. Brian Baker. I always, get those bad vibrations. If you get my, but no, Ricker couldn't say enough things about Brian Baker for what he did, helping Ricker obtain sponsors and all that, and putting that together. So
Applause.
congratulations.
Both.
Thank you, Ken Ricker. Thank you, Brian Baker.
All right, guys, you ready to talk some high school football?
Always.
Only been waiting
Already?
9 months.
Already?
Yeah, I know.
Take
I'm
away
going
from
to
my
twist
baseball
Roger's arm
season.
and force him to do this.
Hey, it's Labor Day weekend. That means, I think Center Court must be starting to get ready to wake up, huh? He's got less than 90 days till basketball season.
No, he's still hibernating. He has a
Is he?
little bit left, and then he can
Okay,
come
all right.
out of his cave.
Chad, you are on the clock.
All right, let's go through the scores from last night, and then we'll kind of toss it around and talk about the games that we attended last night. We'll start it off with Maple Grove beating Springville 51-8. Dunkirk all over Eden 59-14. It was Albion 37, Olean 6. Medina, Lindenville, Barker 14, Depew 12. Burgard over Tonawanda 28-6. Gowanda, Pine Valley 34, Roy Hart 7. Chautauqua Lake / Westfield 18, Allegheny Limestone 7. Southwestern beat Franklinville / Ellicottville 35-8. Salamanca beating Cattaraugus Little Valley 26-20. It was Hamburg 14, Alden 14. Hamburg 48, Alden 14. Will North shutting out Will East 40-0. OP taking care of McKinley 42-24. West Seneca West 48, Sweet Home nothing. Wilson 34, Silver Creek Forestville 12. Iroquois beating Lewport 31-26. Amherst beating Kenmore East 35-26. St. Joe's over Bennett 29-14. Fredonia Brockton 20, Newfane 7. West Seneca East beating Jamestown 34-12. Cheektowaga over Lakeshore 46-0. McDowell of Erie, Pennsylvania beating St. Francis 58-33. Maryville over Cleve Hill 26-6. Markwell Slaughter is going what? Star Point 35, Grand Island 7. Hutch Tech beating Will South 34-14. Lackawanna over Frontier 34-15. And it was Lancaster 54, Lockport 22. Pioneer beating East Roar / Holland 29-0. Those are your scores from last night, at least the ones that I could gather. Guys, what games surprised you? What games jump out at you? What games do you want to talk about?
Roger and I were just talking before we went on the air. One jumped out immediately. Roger?
Jamestown, West Seneca East. If you'd have told me that was the final score, I said it would have been the other way around. But, I guess,
Kudos to Coach Marino for Ron.
absolutely. And, we're gonna find out today if it's, career ending for,
Savon Van Sickle. The report I got late last night was he was moving around on the sidelines gingerly.
Yeah, but you could have a torn ACL and be
You gotta-
moving around gingerly, so.
You gotta hope and pray that it's not too severe and he's moving and grooving sooner than later. I think I'm very confident we'll see him again soon.
I hope so, because, and it seems to me, 34 points, I gotta believe he's just as much a linebacker, a key on defense as he is on offense.
He was last year.
Yeah.
So,
He's only a, 10th grader now, right?
Yes.
He was a 9th grader a year
Yep,
ago.
he was a freshman.
And he was probably, one of the, possibly early season favorites, at least of the non-quarterbacks for, Conley Cup.
I expected Bennett to put up a much better fight yesterday against St. Joe's. I know you're talking Monsignor Martin, private school against a Buffalo Public School Section 6 team, but I expected Bennett to show a lot more yesterday. I
But
thought
that was also a game of unknowns, I thought, for both sides.
Well, yeah, unknown at quarterback for St. Joe's, so you weren't quite sure. We heard a lot of talk about how good
Micah Brown.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard they had 3 fake punts within their own 40.
Wow.
I mean, that's just, I don't understand that. I don't understand it. Bennett tried 3 fake punts. Someone tweet at me and tell me that didn't happen, but the report I got yesterday after the game that it was out of hand, and Bennett should have shown up last night. It didn't look like they did. And to make matters worse, an incident off the field at the end of the game that has me concerned for WNY athletics, at least, to go even to go to All High Stadium after what I heard happened there. And I don't know if we want to talk about it or not, Tony, but that's ridiculous what happened, and they got a problem on their hands over there.
Well, I hope
I'm not going there.
I hope it gets straightened out. Neither am I. I can't, especially since I bring Nick to most of the games with me. I can't. So
Absolutely not.
no. So let's hope it gets taken care of. How about a big congratulations to Tony Treluzio winning in his opener, and he sent me a message. We're going back and forth this morning. Anthony Whitfield had a great game. Robinson was 9 of 15, 460 yards with 3 touchdowns. Emmanuel Georgia had 6.5 tackles, a fumble recovery, an interception, and Otis Anderson had 4 tackles, 3 pass defenders, 3 pass defenses. So great stuff. Of course, Whitfield with a touchdown. So congratulations to Treluzio getting the Engineers off on the right track.
Tony,
Yeah.
first, opening kickoff, they went down and they recovered the fumble. Next play, Whitfield scored on the keeper. Then Williamsville South gets the ball back. First play from scrimmage, they fumble. Hutchcheck scores again, and you blink, and they're up 12-0. So they were ready to play. 5 turnovers. They got points off of 4 of them last night. That's a recipe for success.
Sure it is.
So I have 2 that are surprises to me. One is, when have you heard Olean getting shut out in the game and as beat as 37-0 over Albion?
Especially if you remember when we were going with when Dick was Gallagher was in here, we're talking about it's like giving high praise to Olean that they were going to be tough this year.
That's number 1. And the number 2 one that surprised me, because, and I said it on the air, which was the one we didn't know about, was Cleve Hill gonna have a line to be able to let these running backs go? And obviously Maryville went right through that line, and those running backs were not able to do the damage that they were hoping they can do.
2 Trench Trophy guys gone from that line. That says something right there. I mean, what did they lose to? Was it 26-6, 20-6?
26-6, yep.
Okay, that's not the outcome I thought. I would have never thought it would have been that much of a difference between the two.
I think I read Rashad Law got 103 yards. He only needed 11 carries. So he just 10 yards a carry, a couple carries,
It's
and he's
called
done.
gouging.
Yeah.
Desiderio only had 3 passes in the game.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, but aren't we, talking about a team that has literally just about everybody coming back versus a team that's is in a rebuilding mode for overall. I mean, still Class C, they're probably still gonna be.
They're still gonna probably
It's
be
gonna be
Class
Cleve Hill and
C.
Southwestern. I'm already projecting for the, the game at, Nerf.
Yeah.
It's kinda early, but.
Oh, no doubt, but it still is though, if you don't have that line, it doesn't matter how strong those running backs are or that quarterback, are they gonna have the protection to get in there? And that's what you don't know. At this point, you see early on, even if they come out of the section, Will they have any gas to go farther from that, because you don't know how strong that line is?
Did Waller lead them in carries yesterday? Waller's listed as a quarterback, yes?
He's he's their quarterback for the Wildcat, but he's considered a running back.
Yeah. Do you know how many touches he had?
We don't have that information yet.
That would be interesting to find out, but I didn't expect Maryville to blow them out. That was a blowout.
Same here.
I want to go to the phones and say good morning to Mark Adair from Football Weekly. Good morning, Mark. I'm doing good, buddy. How are you? I would expect that. You guys all had a busy night last night. I only had to take in one game. Yeah, that's the big thing. And by the way, 2 thumbs down to the NCAA for still loading up on Friday night games. You have no business doing that. That's high school night.
Why is Michigan State playing on Friday night?
Yeah, Mark, why is Michigan State playing on Friday night? That makes you happy. I agree. I agree 100%.
Probably called money in television.
So what else you got for us, buddy? Roger and I
We're going to the game at Pilot Field, man.
Yeah, we'll be at one. It's consists of eating chicken wings at Wingfest. That's the game we're going to. It was funny as I was talking to 2 Niagara Falls players Thursday night, and I said, "Oh, you guys are home Saturday. I was thinking about coming to catch your game." He goes, "Oh no, we're on the road." Like, okay, glad you guys know your schedule. Yeah, they're really tuned into what their team is doing. I hope so. So what are your thoughts on last night, Mark? Yikes. Mark, was Medina showing a lot of that spread and wide open attack that they had been doing the last couple of years? Really? Yeah, I guess that'll make it difficult. Right. What are your thoughts on Depew? Yeah, I was gonna say you associate big linemen with Depew. What other games did you check out? Okay. Yeah, the construction's a pain in the dupe. Get the work done, will you please?
Well, that's New York State through it. That would have nothing to do with county government, would it? Well, no, he's got enough problems with the roads in, Erie County, Mark, don't add the throughway problems to it.
Mark, always great to talk to you. We'll, hopefully bump into you soon. All right, take care. Mark Adair from Football Weekly, joining in the games that he went to. I want to talk about the Grand Island Star Point game I went to last night. And Star Point's fun to watch. They'll come out there, they'll show you 3, 4, 5 wide receivers. The assistant coaches line up in formation. I think I saw Billy Aquino run in a slam pattern at one point during the game. They just throw it everywhere. And
That was Nate playing tight end last night.
yeah, that was Nate out there.
It was,
I
okay.
think he needs a little work on his conditioning. Sorry about that, buddy, but you gotta get out there and do some more running. Aaron Chase, quarterback for Star Point, threw over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Like I say, he's just slinging the ball all over. They have
I believe he set another record last night.
Yeah,
He already
school
had 5. Yeah, he set another school record.
Single game passing yard record.
Not surprising. Not surprising at all, especially when you have a 6'3" wide receiver and Max Bowden who just out-jump everybody. If you're playing Star Point and you have smaller defensive backs, you're in trouble. Because they're just going to throw it up there, and this big kid's going to go get it.
Well, depending on where it is when they get it there, if it's, if it's beyond, 20 yards from the line of scrimmage, you might as well tackle them, and it's only a 15-yard penalty. It's not a spot foul for pass interference in high school, especially when you get down in the red zone and all that. If they're in the end zone, tackle them.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
how
have to do something.
How is a 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" guy supposed to cover a 6'3", 6'4" receiver on a jump ball?
But listen to these stats. This isn't one receiver. Wide receiver Max Bowden hauled in 7 receptions for 154 yards. Running back Brendan Gall caught 8 for 147 yards and a TD while rushing for 57. Spina,
Yeah, they ran a few draw plays.
Spina, 2 receptions, 70 yards, a touchdown. Joe Carlson, 3 receptions, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns. This isn't one guy.
Oh, I realize that, and the one running back coming out of the backfield, he's probably being covered by a linebacker.
Yeah, oh, it has to be. Especially if you said they were going into 4 and 5 receiver sets.
Yes.
You have to then.
Then they were just hitting those slants over the middle. The slants were there. Receivers did a great job of shielding with their body. That's one of my favorite pass plays in football because of that. You can shield the defensive back with your body. If the quarterback is money, it's almost unstoppable.
How close did that game actually look, though?
It started out close. I mean, Grand Island came right back and scored to tie it up, but they
I
just
think it was 21-7 at the half, I know. Time Warner,
yeah, Spectrum was there last night.
Spectrum,
Sal
broadcast
Capaccio did the game. Got to see Sal.
And Len Jankovic was the color commentator.
That was Lenny up there.
That was Lenny up there. Either that or he was on the phone, watching it and calling from home.
I believe he works for, he helps out with Spectrum.
Yes, this is a couple of years now he's been doing, color commentary for Time Warner / Spectrum and all that. But 21-7, I fell asleep. I didn't watch the second half yet. I will. But what a difference in the Star Point team from about 2-3 years ago. 3 yards in a cloud of AstroTurf or whatever. And
Yeah,
now,
those days are gone.
now they look like Jim Kelly when he was playing for the Houston team in the
Gamblers.
the Houston Gamblers.
Roger, when I wrote my preview on them, I said, there are things that are, pretty certain in life, death, taxes, and Star Point football, running the football.
Yeah, bingo.
He changed that, yeah.
Yeah, they started coming out of that shell last year, I believe. We started to
It's
see
because
more
of him.
see more openness, and when you have size like that at wide receiver, first of all, when you look at Star Point, just to pass the eye test, they're big. I mean, they have big number 75. Was it David Meyer? 295 pounds. That's a big boy. But they were putting him on at D end at one point, and that had me scratching my head a little bit. But
Was
Tom was
he
saying
agile?
maybe he was there just to for contain
Was he-
against the reverse.
Was he agile?
Not really.
Okay.
No, he's a big body and he's tough. But you got to give Grand Island, what's his name? Anthony Seifert. He is number 55. Roger, you might want to tell the trench guys to keep an eye on him. His technique was fantastic last night in how he blocked. So I think he might need to go on the trench radar.
Tough luck for the Vikings, though. Cianco, their quarterback, senior quarterback Cam Cianco left. He was seen in crutches at the end, so
He was
Shout out to
limping
him.
early on.
Was he?
Yeah, so it might have been
Did
a
they get to
double.
him?
It was tough to see, but I remember I think it was in the first quarter, I saw him limping towards the sideline, so you could tell something was bothering him.
I know
But-
they lost a lot to graduation, so I'm not 100% where they're gonna be, and this was a huge test for them.
September 21st, week 4. I'm looking ahead now, all of a sudden, based on last night. Start point at West Seneca East.
There you go.
Yeah.
We
All right.
haven't talked about West Seneca East yet, we gotta do that right after the break, but they had an impressive win last night as well.
All right, let's get back to talking about more of the other games from last night. We'll take a break. You're listening to Inside High School Sports on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Friday,
Sports,
after
don't
that,
forget
I-
Sports Talk Saturday
This
at
Jamestown
11
will see up
o'clock.
north all
I'm
over
sure
now.
the Khalil Mack trade will be discussed. I just have a funny feeling on that. Of course,
Now I gotta
in case
check
you
on
missed it,
Saturday.
Khalil Mack is going to the Chicago Bears.
Are we in here?
Hmm. Hmm. Streeter. Isn't Ray, they're kind of high on hope for him as a return guy? All right.
So you're saying there's no O'Reilly?
Oh, man. Why? Hit the dump button. Is the delay unit working? I thought only Roger came up with
Yeah,
the corny
I
stuff.
was the only jerk in this.
You guys are out of control. All right, busy weekend for us. Of course, high school football kicking off last night. As I mentioned, Roger and I are headed to Wing Fest after the show. I know we're doing it for the team, guys. We're taking it for the team. We're going out there promoting the show. We're eating chicken wings. We're doing it for you guys.
Tony, my stomach's not agreeing with that comment, but, I know I have to live with it.
I just tried to make you feel better. I'm sorry. and tomorrow, my Cobras take on TTFA Bills at behind LaSalle Preparatory School on Buffalo Avenue in Niagara Falls.
That's technically Francis and my team. I mean, if we're gonna call us,
TTFA?
Yeah, I mean, we're
Oh,
Town Wonder Boys.
TTFA, I thought you said TTFN, that's
So we-
top for now.
Would you be closer
Yeah.
to TTFA or Tonawanda?
Tonawanda City, not really. Cotton,
TTFA plays at Kenny Field?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there every day, pretty much.
Okay. Well, you should come out and watch the game.
Francis is the KAT guy
yeah,
then.
I'm
When do
close.
we play? TTFA, KAT? Not
I'd
soon
have to
enough.
look at the schedule to see if they do play this year.
We
But
gotta talk about
we
this
have a
game.
1 o'clock game, so I'm excited about it. Nick's happy. We're coming off of a 13-6 win over Wheatfield last week. And Nicky had a nice block. He helped on the winning touchdown. Double teamed the tackle, and our running back broke it. So I'm kind of happy.
Good job, buddy. You gotta talk, we can't continue the show unless we talk about Lackawanna, who opened up the season yesterday in a huge win over Frontier. Is it a sophomore, junior quarterback, Jeremiah Kevin, Francis, do we know?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Okay, you go.
QB Jeremiah Canavis, he completed 21 of 34 passes, 372 yards, 4 TDs. He set 3 school records yesterday: most completions in a single game, most passing yards in a game, and most touchdown passes in a game. So every year there's always a kid who jumps onto the scene. It might be this kid after that performance.
This is his first varsity start. There was another kid at the Will North, Will East game, Zaire Leonard, a freshman. Hasn't even spent a day in high school yet, right? Tuesday's the first day of school, so he'll be a 9th grader officially on Tuesday, but he laced it up. He was on the field quite a bit yesterday, actually. He was a cornerback on defensive schemes. Had a couple of nice plays, came up with an interception to stall what would have been a decent Will East drive. Keep your eyes and ears low to the ground for a kid named Zaire Leonard. And he's also listed as a running back. He got a few touches yesterday. I was pretty impressed with how the freshman did yesterday.
Speaking of those who haven't started high school yet, and I digress, but how about the goaltender for Rich Kozak's Frontier soccer team? 12 years old, he's already got a couple shutouts. They're 4-0.
Good job, Rich.
2-0 in league play, 4-0. And, Rich claimed the preseason that he was the other team with the 4 powerhouses in ECIC 1, so forgot about doing it on News and Notes. So congratulations to Rich Kozak and to Nathan Hole, 12 years old, playing
That's
goal.
outstanding, Nathan. Congratulations.
And to add on to that, didn't they say it's the first 7th grader recorded a win as a shutout?
They're not sure. They're pretty
Okay.
sure in ECIC at least.
That's amazing. That really is amazing if you think about it. Let's see, this just in from Larry Ben via Twitter. He sent me a message. He went to the Gowanda Pine Valley Roy Hart game. He said GPV really has quite the running game with 3 running backs, especially Caleb Maloney. They were so good on the ground. They were able to open it up the air. Damon McLeod with 2 TDs. He said it was a really nice game. So thank you, Larry,
Cool.
for sending that in.
Cole Snyder picked up where he left off. I believe he had 5 touchdowns yesterday when he leaned Southwestern over Ellicottville, Franklinville, Evil Frank. Obviously not the same team they were last year.
Well, they got the losses they had. They were loaded, senior laden last year, and I mean, I expected, that's why I thought the irony was, I know it made, sense for Section 6, they could balance Class, C South and Class C North, and with only 4 teams instead of 5 in, Class D, they could actually do a double round robin scheduling. Logistically, it was, to their benefit, but, boy, it would be, you know, when you have a team like that, and then you say, well, we're gonna move them up because they were so good. Well, they were so good because they had a bunch of seniors. So, I don't, you know, I have mixed emotions about that. I am looking forward to next Friday night, I'm going to, the Southwestern Randolph Frewsburg game.
Bernard is the lineman there, right? Andrew Bernard
His name is
for
familiar.
Randolph. Yeah,
Yes.
he's they got their hands full with that kid.
Oh, something I forgot to mention, when I mentioned Tony Truluzio picking up his win against Will South. And a player for Will South, they had an interception that I told you about the week before, Mike Masakio.
Yep.
So picking right up where my buddy's son, and said if he's anything like his dad, look out, and he chips in with
He had a couple good carries too.
Tom, you were at that Orchard Park game.
Yeah, so
Orchard
you
McKinley.
talk about coaches getting their first win. Coach Craig Dana gets his first win of his career also.
Buff
So
State
to build in that, what?
Buff State
alum, right? Absolutely. I'm going to tell you. So the first news is the questions I would say before the game. Is Orchard Park back to a team that you are going to expect to go to a finals at the stadium? That's number 1. Number 2, what does McKinley have, and what are they going to bring to the table? A lot of answers were answered. First of all, let's talk about McKinley off the bat first. Go down 22-0. Looked like it was going to be a complete blowout in favor of Orchard Park. All of a sudden, a long pass play for McKinley comes through, and it is now 22-8. There is almost 0 time left on the clock in the half, and Tavion Martin intercepts the ball for an 85-yard TD.
I saw that highlight.
Right? So now you're talking about momentum, everything in McKinley's way. Like, you had to give them credit, because they're normally 22-0. You see the heads go down,
Sure.
everything go down. Did not happen for McKinley. You saw the sidelines get up. Everybody came out. It's now 22-16 at halftime.
So now we have a game.
Now you got a game, right? So then it was Orchard Park gets to 29. It's 29-16. And then McKinley scores again. 29-24 is the game late in the second half. And then that's when Orchard Park does pull away. So this is what you see now first of all, Tavion Martin is for real. Like, this kid is all over the field. Returning kickoffs, he's playing defense, he's a wide receiver, he's playing corner, he's playing safety. I watched, he was all over the field. The quarterback, who is I don't want to butcher. I know I'm going to butcher his name a little bit, but it's
My question.
Kajon Cartham, right? May have had the play of the game that I saw that was unbelievable. It was a 2-point conversion. The kid runs into the pile, and you just see the whole pile stop, and they're about to see the whistle. His arm comes out of the pile, throws the ball over his shoulder to Fields, and Fields runs it in for a 2-point conversion. It was unbelievable.
A lateral or a forward pass?
No, it was a side, like to a side. It was
shot.
it's exactly what it looked like. And an arm just coming out of the pile, and you were like, you gotta be kidding me. Wow, what a play. Right? Saw the hit of a game I have not seen. There was a penalty called on it, but boy, to see Jack Sharp get up. If you've ever been to the Riverside Field, it's about 5 yards from the sideline to the fence.
Yeah.
It's indoor football.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I'm
Sharp
with it.
gets hit on a scramble that he runs, and he gets hit, goes about 2 of the yards in the air. The rest of the way goes through the fence. The fence goes like, he pushes the fence back where he's halfway into the sidewalk is where he is.
Oh, my.
And gets right up, goes into the next play. You gotta give Jack Sharp
Yeah,
credit for that
That's
one,
tough.
right? I will tell you, Orchard Park is probably right now the best I've ever seen them from a team perspective. Yes, line is back. Okay, that was the first thing you saw. And reason why that is you saw a running attack like I've never seen from Orchard Park. 3 different running backs carrying the ball. Pearson Savarino starts out 2 touchdowns for himself. You had Irizarry that actually comes in as the next running back, 2 touchdowns himself, plus the ball carry to finish off the game to make sure that the win was secured. And you had Stephen Kulikowski, who was the 3rd running back. All saw significant touches. It was more of a run game than you saw pass.
And that was my question about them. Who are they going to have running the ball? Because they lost their top 2 rushers, Dave Perkins, and I forget the other kid's name, but they had some big holes there.
And absolutely stood up and filled. And then you've got 3 receivers that all were catching the ball, that was actually 4, because Pataki was also a big receiver for them. So you had Pataki catching passes, Bartolotti who caught a touchdown pass, Landers caught a touchdown pass, and then as you know, Jordan's also a wide receiver there with 3 catches for, I think it was somewhere between 30 and 40 yards himself. It was a total team effort there. It was one of the best I've ever seen them as a team look. No standout. It was standouts all across the board. It was a true team effort.
It's good to hear from an Orchard Park point of view for sure.
Sure.
I'll
So
talk
you-
about Lancaster real quick.
Yeah.
Lancaster yesterday, their first play from scrimmage, Lockport's first play from scrimmage went for 90 yards. So Lancaster really didn't give up any touchdowns last year. Gave up one on the very first play for 90 yards to Lockport. But to their credit, they scored like the next 54 points. So
Yeah, I think they made up
Oh,
for
so
it.
they had to come from behind to win, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if Falcinetti started. It looks like Manziel must have started the game. He went 11 of 14 for 174 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I saw in the highlights, he did throw 1 touchdown.
And Wingard did have 3 touchdowns. So we had talked about Wingard the last few weeks as being a player to keep your eyes on. So he had a pretty good game. But I'll tell you, Will North, it wasn't a great test for them, Will East, and they're a pretty good team. But they're
The game kind of underwhelmed, I thought.
Will North, it was a rout. It was 13-0 before you had a chance to take a look at the scoreboard even. I mean, they dominated the line of scrimmage. They're big. They've got a lot of weapons, and Class AA is wide open. I don't think anyone's going to.
And be careful, there's only 8 teams, they're going 8 weeks. They play a full round robin, only the top 4 make the playoffs. Now that means that between Hutch Tech, Lancaster, Orchard Park, Clarence, and Will North, one of them will not make the playoffs.
Bennett, there too.
And Bennett, well, I'm going by last night, I don't know if Bennett would be in that class with the other teams. And Niagara Falls, that's always the question mark. Lockport's the only one that, you can almost write off early.
Well, Niagara Falls doesn't get tested today by South Park at Niagara Falls at 1 o'clock, so we'll find out there. All right, guys, let's take a break. Don't forget Sports Talk Saturday with Sal Carpaccio's coming up next. You're listening to Inside High School Sports on WGR Sports Radio 550. next. Tom, you were saying something interesting during the break. This is a team that could fly under the radar, Pioneer.
Yeah, if you remember, that's what Dick Gallagher actually sat here and said, watch out, size of the Pioneer line had a great offseason is what he was talking about, and this was some of the offseason, we talked about them working out over at STA, some of these guys, but there are some big linemen that we had heard about benching stuff with them, like how good their bench was.
Right.
Come out of the gates with a 29-0 win, bodes very, very well for that Pioneer team. Off to the start they're looking for to be able to compete in that division.
Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me that when you have offensive linemen in the weight room and they're getting stronger, that you can go out there and push the other team around? Come on!
I
What a
know it's tough to
concept!
believe. I know it's tough to believe, but
It's amazing what happens when you hit the weight room, folks.
I wouldn't plan a victory parade yet, bearing in mind, yesterday they played against a very young East Aurora Holland team, and also bearing in mind they are in B1, which is the same league as Chickawaga, Maryvale, Newport, Iroquois. So I wouldn't base it on a win against East Aurora.
again,
Still, it's a good outing.
You're gonna come out. You have your schedule in front of you. You got to win the games that are in front of you. Give them credit because they've come out of the gates with a nice win to start off the season. And their strengths were supposed to be line play. So if they absolutely put a shutout on the board, it meant that line play did something that was
Right.
out there. And if you look for their running back goes for over 150 yards, which means they pounded the ball on the ground, did exactly what their strength was, and they played to it.
Well, like I say, I'll wait until they come against the Maryvales and Chickawagas of the world before I plan on where which playoff game I'm going to in week 8.
Well, Iroquois, I mean, that Iroquois 31-26 over Looper was a little closer than I think people expected.
Closer for who? You didn't think Newport would be that good?
I thought Iroquois would win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Iroquois,
Being perfectly honest.
Iroquois is not the same team they were built like last year. Iroquois was big, strong. I'm gonna pound it down with a great running back. It's not the same team like that.
They star pointed almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're going to more of a passing type offense for what they have. They're playing to their strengths right now.
Kudos to the Lancers, though. Kudos.
You have to adjust your style according to the players that you have. You know, if you don't have the big behemoths, you're not going to be a pound and ground team. So if you're quick and you've got speed and you've got a quarterback that can throw the ball, well, you're going to spread it around a little bit more like that. Raj, how about Kurt Fisher and his debut?
Yeah, we were talking about the first victory for the Orchard Park coach last night. Well, Kurt Fisher got his first victory last night, too. Actually, first victory at Chautauqua Lake after 210 at Maple Grove.
249.
Kurt Fisher was exactly Kurt Fisher, you know. I saw him at the beginning of the game. I says, Coach, I told you I'd be here for your first game at Chautauqua Lake. What do you think? He says, gee, I hope we don't disappoint. It could get ugly. I says, why is that, Coach? Well, that team out there we're playing is pretty good, you know. Typical Kurt Fisher. He doesn't change and all that. The quarterback for Allegheny Limestone, unfortunately, midway through the first quarter, got hit as he was throwing a pass right on the sideline, clean hit. He sat there for a while, got up, walked off on his own power, and I think, well, he'll probably go through concussion protocol. And all of a sudden, I look on the other side of the field, coming around, here comes an ambulance. And I says, come on, he walked off on his own power, folks, what's going on here? Turns out, I guess he broke his fall with his right hand, broke his wrist.
Oh.
Done for the season, I'm sure, you know.
Oh,
Pretty hard
man.
for a quarterback with a broken wrist on his throwing hand, so. They had their best lineman, according to their coach, or at least their best candidate for the trench, young man named Pat Walsh. He plays linebacker on defense, offensive guard on offense. Came out in the second half doing a Joe Andreessen imitation. What do you call it? Wildcat quarterback. They were held to like 70-some yards rushing. I dare say they got most of that on that first opening drive of the third quarter. Came down 12-0, made it 12-7. After that, Chautauqua Lake adjusted, and they won going away. I want to give a shout to Nate Adams, the junior defensive lineman for Chautauqua Lake, by far the best linemen on the field. But again, good trip down to Chautauqua Lake, enjoyed it. I'm looking forward next week to going to see Southwestern and Randolph down there, at which that will conclude all my trips down south, at least until the playoffs.
Speaking of coaches making their debuts once again in the Section 6 football circle, you've got Charlie Comerford and Western New York Maritime Health Sciences team. They're going to go up against Canisius 1 o'clock at Stransky Complex. You'll see that Christian Value kid, who I hear is better than advertised. North Tonawanda, there's a guy named Eric Jancy.
I've heard of him,
Leading the
yeah.
Lumberjacks out today once again against Niagara Wheatfield, 2 p.m. up there in Niagara Wheatfield, Akron at JFK.
Hopefully they cut the lawn at Wheatfield for him.
And then another pretty big game, 2 AA guys going at it, Clarence and Ken West. Of course, Ken West now down to Class A, but that was a pretty good rivalry when they were both up in AA. So that's at Crosby Field, 2 p.m. kickoff there.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Great show as always. Derek Kramer, thank you. Sal is next with Sports Talk Saturday. We're on our way to Wingfest. We'll talk to you next week.
Lunch with me today?
Let's go. Yeah, it's on you. Talk to you next week.